In today's video, I'm trying out a brand new product, a weed control product that I've never used before. And we're going to test it out on several different weeds, maybe 6 or 7 different types of weeds. And I just want to see what happens. Broadleaf weed, grassy weeds, sedges. And we're going to see this combo product. Is it going to be very effective, new to the market? And the best way I know is just to test it out and see it on video. Today's video is sponsored by Yardbook. I've been using Yardbook for my lawn care software since 2015. If you need a software to run your lawn care business, go to yardbook.com and sign up for a free account. All right, here it is, new product. And I tell you, I want to give you a little bit of education before I show you the weeds, and then we'll spray them. But let's first introduce you to a new product, and I'm going to just tell you a little bit about it by comparing it with some other products. This is it. Now, I buy a lot of my products, vast majority from Harrells. So Harrells has this product out, it's called Southside. And I think what a lot of companies are doing is trying to create a combo product that can help with different types of weeds. So you can just mix one product up and not have to mix multiple products to control the weeds in the yard. So, for instance, I often use these two products mixed together, Celsius and Certainty. Well, Celsius is good for, you know, a little bit on grassy weeds, but good on broadleaf weeds. Certainty is effective on sedges and also effective on some grassy weeds. So you mix them together in a warm season lawn, you can control most of the weeds that you're going to run into. And I like it because you can use it on Bermuda, zoysia, centipede, or St. Augustine. Well, Southside, same type of deal. Well, let me just go back to this. Celsius came out with Celsius Extra, which was Celsius plus a sedge product mixed in, you know, so the idea was that you wouldn't have to mix the Certainty in there with it. You just have Celsius Extra, which is Celsius and Pro Sedge, basically, or sedge hammer. The downside I saw with that is it's not quite as good on Kalinga, in my opinion, as Certainty would be with just the other product that in there, the other active ingredient that is in sedge hammer or Pro Sedge. So what do we got here? A combo product, Southside, and it is essentially these two active ingredients there. You've got sulfuron and metsulfuron. So, pardon my pronunciation there, but basically you got the active ingredient that's in Certainty mixed with the active ingredient that's in Manner. Now, Manner is metsulfuron. It's really cheap to spray, but the difficulty with Manner is it's very hard to mix up in a little handheld sprayer, backpack sprayer, because the rate I use it at often is 1/4 of an ounce per acre. So when you're talking about mixing up for this, I mean, it's such a tiny amount, it's crazy, and you don't want to overdo it. So you can mix it up in my gram spray rig, and I often do that, and it's extremely cheap to do, but again, very hard for that. So this has already got it mixed up in there at the appropriate rate, with also the appropriate rate of Certainty. Now, the great thing about this is you get these two products mixed together, essentially, active ingredients, already mixed up for you at a price that is less than just the Certainty by itself would be. So that made a lot of sense to me to go with this. Now, I think with the Certainty, I'm going to get some pretty good control in sedges, both Kalinga and purple nut sedge, yellow nut sedge, whatever. Should be pretty effective on all that. With the metsulfuron, it's going to help a lot with the broadleaf weeds, but, you know, I'm not sure just alone it's going to be quite the gangbusters that the Celsius Certainty combo is in my mind, but significantly less expensive. So I may take this later on, I may mix a little bit of change it with it to help it be a little bit more effective on some broadleaf weeds. Not that the metsulfuron wouldn't work, but I know if I put change up and the metsulfuron in there together, then now I'm sure enough gonna knock out just about any broadleaf weed. And again, the Certainty would help on the sedges. Now, the weakness might be on grassy weeds. It's not going to be super effective, though Certainty is good on cool season grasses in a warm season lawn. So you're even on that. I'm just thinking probably not as good as this combo on like Dallas grass clumps, and I use it on annual foxtail, things like that. Anyway, that might be a slight downside. We may find some of that out in this particular video. So enough talking, I was just letting you know what's mixed inside here. Let's show you the weeds. I've already got it mixed up, and this bottle goes a really long way. Now, this is over $300. I know, pick yourself up off the ground if you just fell out of your chair. But it actually goes a really long way, so that cost per application is significantly less than this combination here. So that's one reason I'm excited about it. I've got it mixed up. Let's look at the weeds and we'll spray them. All right, time of the year is early September. Weather's cooling off a little. That's a positive for me. We've got Bahia grass here. I've got these flags marked out here. Bahia grass. Now the metsulfuron at 1/4 ounce per acre can help suppress it. So I just want to spray a little bit of this Bahia right here. I don't think it's going to kill it, but I want to see, will it suppress it before the cold weather gets here. All right, got more flags over here. What do we got here? Virginia buttonweed. Not gonna kill it, but I want to see, do we suppress it? Again, I know if I mix that change up in there with it, I bet it would get even better results. But right now for this video, I'm just going straight Southside. I'm not mixing change up with it. Same thing with the Celsius and Certainty combo. I know it's really, really, really good on this annual foxtail. What if I just got the Southside product, which is just the active ingredient for the, there's no Celsius in there, it's just the Certainty and the metsulfuron. Is it going to do well on the foxtail? I want to see it. I've got some little broadleaf weeds here, just these guys. So we're going to spray those and see what happens. I've got spurge. We're going to see what happens with it. It'll be dying out soon. And then again, how does it do on sedges? So we've got grassy weed there with the annual foxtail. Now we've got just some yellow nut sedge here. Let's see how it does on that. And lastly, I'd come over here and got a little bit of Kalinga. Now this Kalinga is just not growing that much, cooling off. It's been dry, so I still want to spray it, just see what kind of results we get. We can find more weeds, but that's a lot to spray. So let's spray them and we'll check back on the results. All right, got it mixed up in the sprayer, 2-gallon battery powered sprayer. We're gonna spray. The idea here is get it wet, not drown it. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna leave some of the Bahia grass. This is Bahia grass. I'm gonna leave some not sprayed, some I'm gonna spray so we can tell the difference. All right, that was my debut spray with Southside. Virginia buttonweed. I mean, if it makes it look bad, that would be great. We'll see what happens. This is annual foxtail. This is some kind of broadleaf weed. This is spurge. Yellow nut sedge. Gonna be a little slower on that one. I'll leave some not sprayed where we can tell the difference. And lastly, we got some Kalinga. The other thing that could come from this is this idea of synergy. I don't know if this is going to play into this or not, but you know, I talked about adding change up to the metsulfuron. When you add those two together, it gives you this synergy effect that seems to work better than if you use the two separately. So I don't know if there's any kind of synergy between the two ingredients in there. Probably not. If I had to guess, they probably just two separate products, two separate chemicals for do two separate things. But who knows? But the other thing I can find out by spraying this just with the Southside and not putting any change up in there is to see, you know, maybe I find out that I don't even really need to add the change up to it. Maybe it knocks the spurge out. It knocks back the buttonweed by itself and without needing any extra change up. We'll see toward the end of the video. Let's give it a few days and we'll check on the results. About 8 days in, let's take a look and see what's going on with these weeds. It's been dry, hot and dry. We've gotten a little bit of rain, but metsulfuron is notoriously slow. So a little bit going on with the buttonweed. I mean, compared to this one that's very, very green, this one's starting to turn a little bit. We'll be interested to see what this looks like in another week to 10 days. That's probably about how long this video is going to go on. I ain't got all year to watch it die. The foxtail is certainly not looking happy, and I'm thinking the Certainty's helping with that to some degree. Nothing like, again, the Celsius and Certainty combo is just unbelievable at knocking it out. But I think we might be getting a little bit of results there. Again, very, very slow results on this, so we just need to give it some more time. We've got the spurge starting to see some brown in there, but I just showing you, you know, it's been 8 days or so, and it's been slow. Okay, let's don't give up. Same on the nut sedge. Wasn't expecting that to be super fast, but we might have to give this thing 2 more weeks. I mean, just far enough we get some sure enough results. Let's find the last little bit. Oh, it's way over here where I sprayed. What was it? Kalinga. And here's the Kalinga. So let's be honest, we're not going to win any races with this product, but we want to see what the results look like as we give it more time. So let's maybe check in 2 more times, maybe give it a week. I don't know. I don't want to say what it'll be because I'll forget to check on it. We're going to give it some more time and hopefully come back and see some more impressive results. But it's been off to a slow start, but that doesn't mean it's not working. Just means it needs a little more time. We'll check back. All right, it's been about 3 weeks since we did the initial application. I want to wrap this video up. So let's take a look at what's going on with these weeds. I want to draw some conclusions. Okay, it's September, getting late September actually, and it might have been 4 weeks since I did this, but it's still hot. Okay, so it's like 92 degrees today, which is not good. Cooler weather coming soon. Let's start off with Bahia grass. So you see an untreated Bahia grass here. I have mowed the grass 1 time, I believe. Tried to mow around the treated areas, but untreated Bahia grass still got a big stalk, green color. And you can see what it did, the metsulfuron in there in the Southside, and it really did suppress it. Now it's not dead, but pretty low rate. It definitely suppressed. It's not putting up a seed head. The leaves of the plant is turning color versus the greener, healthier Bahia over there. So gave us some suppression on that. I consider that a plus. Wasn't expecting it to kill it. Next up, and I love having a healthy one versus a sprayed one side by side. So here's Virginia buttonweed. This is the time of year where Virginia buttonweed is blooming and got, you know, white flowers on it, and you can see, if you don't believe me, there's a little white flower. Anyway, that's what the untreated one looks like. The one that's treated, you see the leaves are kind of purple looking and just, you know, looks sick. It's not overwhelmingly impressive results, but it's obviously doing something to it. But, you know, wasn't expecting to kill that weed, but it did have a little bit effective, not overly impressive, honestly. One of the better ones that actually caught me by surprise, and we talked about this, I like to use Celsius and Certainty on foxtail, and I just kind of in my mind was thinking the Celsius did most of the heavy lifting there. Maybe it does. I think it probably has some effectiveness too. But look at the foxtail that was not sprayed, and you know, this is very mature, hadn't been mowed, versus the one that was sprayed, and it really did a great job of he's trying to put up a seed head, but it just looks very sick and suppressed it. So it didn't kill it, not as good as the Celsius Certainty combo, but did a really good job of suppressing. I think if you mowed that, you know, it would be much slower to come back. Again, not dead, but definitely exceeded my expectations on that. Not as impressive results on this little broadleaf weed here. You see one that wasn't sprayed and just kind of made it a little sick. And maybe over time, you know, I don't know. I don't know if, I know metsulfuron is slow. Maybe it needs a little more time, but I don't think so. I think it just kind of showing slight weakness there, that it was not overly effective on this broadleaf weed. Now another one that kind of surprised me in a positive way was the spurge. So you can see here, untreated spurge right here. It's real green still. And you can see the one that we sprayed and really did a good job. Now it was slow, and I'm not saying it's 100% dead, but it's very, very brown. And you can definitely tell that, you know, it did something, and certainly for this year, gonna hold it down until the winter kills it off. So not a bad product at all, and that's very encouraging me to see that just kind of a low rate of metsulfuron would do that much damage to spurge. And lastly, we've got the sedges here. So we got nut sedge, and you know, I kind of knew what Certainty would do. Here's untreated sedge that's very green, and then what's been treated is not growing as much. I didn't mow it, but you can see it's just slowly continuing to turn brown. I think it will probably continue to show more and more effects. Even you know, it's been kind of slow, but it is working. I think it would continue to look worse over time if you mow it. Be very slow to grow back compared to what was not sprayed. So pretty good results, about as expected on the sedge. Certainly not going to kill it, but did a good job of suppressing it. See maybe some little better examples there. And last example here is the Kalinga, and you can see where it's really did a pretty good job on it too. Not as crunchy brown as it would be if I sprayed it with some Dismiss product, Dismiss NXT or Blindside, or maybe just regular old Dismiss, but definitely keeping it down. And you see, I don't see any turf injury. There's plenty of Bermuda grass in there that looks fine. So again, the time of year helps too. It's not growing as fast as it would have been in the middle of the summer with a lot of rain, but good results on our sedges. All right, so what kind of conclusions can we make from this? What we got here in my first initial observation trying this product is a good sedge product with the active ingredients in Certainty at a cheaper price than Certainty, so that's good. So I'm thinking in my mind, how would I use this product? Well, I could just use it as kind of a replacement for Certainty, you know, same ingredient at a cheaper price with an added ingredient. So could just say, you know what, this is just going to be my replacement of Certainty. It's a sedge product, and I get a little extra benefit of picking up, you know, some of the broadleaf weeds as we saw with the spurge, and even the results we got on some of the other weeds as well. So that's one way I can look at it, and I don't think that's a bad way at all. Another way you could look at it is, and this kind of maybe where I'm going, I'm thinking a lot of times what I'll do in the summer, or even other times of year, spring, summer, I'll mix a 1/4 ounce of metsulfuron per acre with 16 ounces of change-up per acre and go out there and spray. And that really, adding that change-up really does a lot as far as wiping the weeds out. So I'm thinking you could take the same product, put a little bit of change-up in there in a handheld spray or backpack spray. I'm using 3/4 of an ounce of change-up per gallon of water. And if I use 3/4 of an ounce of change-up per gallon of water and mixed in there with it, your costs are still pretty low because change-up's not that expensive. And now I think where that broadleaf weed was still hanging in there, I don't think that's happening then. You're wiping it out, plus getting the sedge control, plus coming in at a cheaper price per application than some of the other combo products that we've already discussed. The spurge, I think it would just totally dominate it. It wouldn't be hanging around and kind of looking sick, but it would be dead. Virginia buttonweed change-up's a great product for that. So again, that's one way you can say, hey, it's just a sedge product like it is, and it got a little bit of metsulfuron to help me and get the results we saw, or I might spike it with a little bit of change-up. Now I've got an extraordinary product still at a pretty reasonable price when I'm out spot treating. That's not something I'm gonna dump in my big gram spray rig and go out there and start spraying yards. I don't think that makes a lot of sense from a cost standpoint. Interesting results, not exactly what I was expecting. Some maybe a little better, some maybe a little bit worse, but again, a good product. Not exactly sure which of those routes I'm going to go. Probably spiking it with a change-up is the way I'm thinking right now in my mind. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to get a weed control and fertilization like me, go over to lawncarelife.com. There's the Weed Control and Fertilization Academy. I'm also thinking about starting a monthly community group, you know, kind of deal where we do a live 1-hour call to help people in the weed control and fertilization business. So you maybe just comment if that's something you'd be interested in. It wouldn't be overly expensive. It'd be like $59 a month, and I might give some sort of access to help people that are getting going in weed control and fertilization, a list of topics. I already created a landing page for it, web page. Just trying to decide if I'm going to do it, and kind of leaning toward doing it and starting it sooner than later. I think that would help a lot of people out at a reasonable price. Also, I'm going to Equip Expo. If you hadn't signed up for that, you want to go use my last name, Creel50, C-R-E-E-L 50. When you sign up for Equip, you'll save 50% off your registration. I'm planning to be there Wednesday and Thursday. I know I'm giving out shirts at the Xmark booth. I'm supposed to give away a spreader or something at the Spiker booth. I'm going to be joining my friend Paul Jameson at the John Deere booth on podcast. So hope to meet some of you guys in person. Also, lawncarelife.com, you'll find information about the 2025 Lawn Care Life Conference. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.